Elon Musk, the man who has reshaped entire industries and challenged the boundaries of what humanity believes is possible, often credits much of his drive and vision to one person, his mother. Mae Musk, a model, dietitian, and single mother, instilled in him a philosophy that would quietly steer the course of his life, even in the face of obstacles that might have crushed someone with less resilience. While many know Elon for his ventures, Tesla, SpaceX, Neuralink, and more, the lesser-known story is the subtle yet transformative lesson from his mom that changed everything. It's a lesson that transcends career, wealth, or fame. It is, at its core, about belief, fearlessness, and embracing discomfort. Elon's upbringing was not idyllic. Born in Pretoria, South Africa, he was curious, introverted, and intensely driven from an early age. He devoured books, tinkered with electronics, and taught himself programming at the age of 12. Yet even as a child prodigy, life was not without challenges. Bullies at school made every day a test of endurance, and his family life was complicated. Despite these circumstances, one figure remained constant: Mae. She carried herself with an unshakable confidence and a quiet insistence on independence. She worked tirelessly to support her family, moving from Canada to South Africa, then navigating life as a single mother, all while managing a demanding career. To Elon, she wasn't just a mother, she was a living demonstration that one could face adversity with courage and still thrive. The lesson she imparted was deceptively simple: fearlessness and self-reliance matter more than comfort or conformity. From a young age, Elon witnessed his mother make choices that defied convention. She moved to new countries, pursued careers on her own terms, and refused to be constrained by the expectations of others. She didn't just talk about resilience, she lived it every day. To Elon, these were more than examples, they were proof that the world didn't have to dictate your path. You could define your own. That understanding, seemingly ordinary in conversation but extraordinary in effect, became a cornerstone of his mindset. As Elon grew older, this lesson revealed itself repeatedly in ways that would shape his ambitions. While most kids worried about grades or social standing, Elon focused on creating, experimenting, and imagining. The world of business and technology, especially at the scale he envisioned, is inherently risky, often punishing failure and celebrating only extraordinary success. Yet, the lesson from Mae, embrace the discomfort, trust your instincts, and don't let fear dictate your actions, became a guiding principle. Every time he launched a new company, faced criticism, or encountered setbacks, the memory of his mother's courage reinforced his ability to persist. It wasn't just about ambition, it was about a willingness to engage with uncertainty and embrace challenge without hesitation. When he founded SpaceX, Elon faced skepticism that was both intense and public. Experts said it was impossible to launch a private company into space, that rockets were far too complex, and that failure was inevitable. The traditional path would have been to avoid the risk, to stay within the bounds of what others deemed reasonable. Yet Elon's mindset, shaped by his mother's example, refused to accept conventional limitations. He poured himself into the venture with relentless energy, risking personal wealth and reputation in the process. Failure was a possibility, even a probability, but fear was not an option. By leaning into discomfort and taking responsibility for his own path, he eventually achieved the impossible, a private company successfully launching and returning rockets to Earth, revolutionizing the aerospace industry. The lesson extended beyond his professional life. In relationships, public scrutiny, and personal hardships, Elon has shown a pattern of leaning into difficulty rather than retreating from it. He has repeatedly described the importance of not being paralyzed by fear, not waiting for certainty before acting. This, again, mirrors May's example. She navigated life with courage, not because she was fearless, but because she understood that fear is a signal, not a barrier. Courage is acting in spite of it, a lesson that Elon internalized deeply. Interestingly, the principle is not about recklessness. Elon is not impulsive in the way many might assume. His risk-taking is calculated, informed by research, analysis, and preparation. But the emotional armor that allows him to take those risks, to aim for the stars literally and figuratively, comes from that early lesson in fearlessness and resilience. May taught him that being uncomfortable, being unsure, and even failing are essential ingredients of growth. The lesson isn't about avoiding failure, it's about embracing it, learning from it, and using it as fuel. Elon has spoken about how his mother encouraged independence and intellectual curiosity. She supported his questions, his experiments, his ideas, even when they seemed strange or impractical. That validation in childhood, being told not just that he could, but that he should explore, test, and question, laid the groundwork for his audacious vision. Most people grow up hearing rules, limits, and boundaries. Elon grew up hearing possibility. And when coupled with the lesson of courage and self-reliance, the combination became transformative. Every innovation Elon has driven, electric cars, reusable rockets, advanced AI, and more, shares a common thread, a willingness to challenge established norms and pursue what others call impossible. Behind that lies the psychological scaffolding built by his mother's influence. There is an elegance to it. he does not simply ignore risk, he reframes it. He sees obstacles not as brick walls but as puzzles, as chances to prove what is possible. That reframing is an embodiment of the lesson from his mother. Life may be uncomfortable, uncertain, and challenging, but that does not dictate what you can achieve. Even now, in the public eye, Elon's approach reflects that core philosophy. He engages with criticism, controversy, and pressure in ways that often bewilder observers. To many, his actions seem audacious or reckless. To those who understand the influence of Musk's example, they are logical extensions of a mindset forged by early lessons in resilience, independence, and fearlessness. Every decision is filtered through a lens of curiosity, problem-solving, and willingness to embrace the unknown. He learned early that the world will test you, and only by testing yourself first can you truly grow. The lesson from his mother also sheds light on his approach to failure. Elon has experienced failures that would have ended most careers. Rockets have exploded, companies have teetered on the brink of bankruptcy, and public opinion has swung wildly against him. Yet, he has consistently demonstrated the ability to absorb failure, analyze it, and persist. The internalization of May's lesson means that failure is not an endpoint but a stepping stone. The capacity to fail without fear is rare, yet it is precisely this capacity that enables radical innovation. By detaching self-worth from success or failure, he can take risks that others cannot even imagine. Furthermore, the lesson is not confined to his professional or personal resilience. It is a lesson about impact. May's insistence on independence and courage was rooted not just in survival, but in thriving and contributing. Elon's projects, from sustainable energy to multiplanetary colonization, reflect a desire to tackle the world's biggest challenges. The courage to face discomfort is paired with a vision of meaningful action. The lesson of fearlessness transforms not just the individual, but the scope of what the individual dares to attempt. Elon learned that if you want to change the world, you must first be willing to challenge yourself, to endure, and to persist when others retreat. Even more profound is the subtlety of the lesson. It was never framed as a formal teaching. Elon didn't attend a lecture called How to Change the World like Mom. Instead, he absorbed it through observation, through watching his mother navigate life with dignity, independence, and courage. This indirect learning demonstrates the power of example over instruction. A lesson learned through lived experience resonates more deeply than any theoretical advice. By seeing his mother act in ways that defied fear and embraced possibility, Elon internalized a philosophy that became the foundation of his identity. It's a reminder that the greatest lessons often come not from explicit teaching, but from the quiet influence of those we admire. As Elon has aged, expanded his ventures, and faced increasingly complex global challenges, the lesson continues to guide him. Whether negotiating with governments, managing teams, or envisioning a future on Mars, the principle remains: trust yourself, embrace discomfort, and act boldly. It is not just a strategy for business, it is a strategy for life. The clarity it provides allows him to navigate chaos without being overwhelmed, to persist where others abandon hope, and to innovate where others accept limitation. There is a universality to this lesson. While Elon Musk is exceptional, the principle is accessible to everyone. Fearlessness, self-reliance, and embracing discomfort are not traits reserved for billionaires or tech geniuses. They are choices, behaviors, and mindsets that can be cultivated. By observing those around us, learning from their example, and committing to act despite fear, anyone can unlock potential that lies dormant beneath hesitation. Elon's story magnifies the lesson, but its essence is profoundly human. In essence, what Elon learned from his mother was far more than a parenting insight. It was a philosophy of life. It is a reminder that the ability to face fear, to endure discomfort, and to trust oneself in the midst of uncertainty is a superpower more valuable than any technical skill or financial resource. It shapes character, informs decisions, and fuels the audacity required to achieve the extraordinary. Mae Musk did not just raise a son, she modeled a mindset that would ripple across industries, inspire millions, and redefine what is possible. Elon's achievements are monumental, but they are built on the quiet, enduring foundation of one simple lesson: courage, independence, and belief in yourself can change everything. Every time Elon launches a rocket, drives a new Tesla model onto the roads, or announces an ambitious plan for the future, he echoes the ethos of his mother's life. The lesson is clear: comfort is a trap, fear is a guide, and boldness is a choice. Those who witness his journey see the result, but understanding its origin reveals something deeper. It is not just about technology, success, or fame. It is about a mindset that embraces life fully, refuses to be constrained by fear, and dares to imagine the impossible. That lesson from his mother, absorbed quietly, internalized deeply, and acted upon relentlessly, changed everything, for Elon Musk and, indirectly, for the world. Ultimately, the story is not just Elon's. It is the story of how one person's example, one act of courage and independence, can ripple outward to influence generations. It is a reminder that the lessons we learn, especially from those who model resilience and audacity, can shape not just careers, but destinies. Elon Musk's life may be extraordinary, but the lesson behind it is profoundly simple and profoundly human. Face fear, embrace challenge, and trust yourself. That lesson, quietly learned from a mother who led by example, has the power to change everything. As Elon's ventures multiplied, so did the stakes. The lesson from his mother didn't just remain a philosophical anchor, it became a practical compass. Every decision, every leap into uncharted territory, echoed the core idea: discomfort is not a signal to retreat, but a signpost pointing toward growth. Tesla, for example, was not simply a business endeavor. The automotive industry is notoriously resistant to change, dominated by giants with decades of experience, entrenched practices, and immense resources. Many would have seen the electric car as a pipe dream, a niche idea doomed to fail. Yet Elon approached it differently. He treated skepticism and doubt not as warnings, but as challenges to overcome. The lesson from his mother had taught him that limitations exist only where you allow them to. Behind every bold announcement and every audacious goal, there was preparation, research, and a willingness to iterate through failure. The early days of SpaceX were littered with rocket explosions and financial peril. Outsiders labeled Elon reckless, naive, even foolhardy. But to him, these moments were experiments, feedback loops in a larger vision. He had internalized Musk's philosophy: the world would challenge you, but true progress comes from engaging fully with that challenge, even when the outcome is uncertain. The ability to see failure as temporary, even necessary, was what separated him from those who shrink in fear. Courage, after all, is not the absence of fear, it is the decision to act in spite of it. It's easy to assume that Elon's fearlessness was innate, a personality trait he was simply born with. Yet the deeper truth is that it was cultivated, nurtured through the consistent example of someone he trusted and admired. May's life demonstrated that bravery is a habit, formed by repeated acts of independence, integrity, and resilience. From her, Elon learned that life rewards those who confront discomfort head-on, who refuse to wait for perfect conditions, and who take responsibility for their own path. This subtle, profound influence can often be overlooked. But it was the foundation upon which Elon built his empire. Even in moments of personal doubt, the memory of his mother's guidance provided clarity. There were countless times when investors pulled back, employees questioned his strategy, or critics ridiculed his ambitions. Most people would have retreated, recalibrated their expectations, or abandoned the pursuit altogether. Elon did not. Instead, he leaned harder into the discomfort. The lesson wasn't about reckless persistence, it was about conscious courage. He weighed risks, sought knowledge, and embraced challenge. He trusted that discomfort signaled growth, not failure, and he acted accordingly. This mindset, modeled by his mother, allowed him to push past obstacles that would have been paralyzing for most. Another dimension of the lesson was curiosity, the drive to understand and master new domains. Elon's ventures span multiple industries, each with its own complexities, challenges, and naysayers. Few people have succeeded in one industry, let alone multiple high-stakes sectors. Yet Elon approaches every domain with childlike curiosity, the same relentless questioning and experimentation that characterized his youth. May's encouragement of independence and exploration made this possible. By valuing learning over comfort and inquiry over conformity, she instilled a mindset that sees every problem as a puzzle waiting to be solved. This intellectual courage complements emotional courage, forming a rare combination that drives groundbreaking innovation. The ripple effect of this lesson is perhaps most visible in the culture Elon cultivates within his companies. He fosters teams willing to take risks, to experiment, and to push boundaries. Failure is not punished, it is studied. Innovation is celebrated. This approach mirrors the lesson from Elon Musk: empower yourself and those around you to act boldly, even when the path is uncertain. The lesson isn't just personal, it becomes organizational, shaping the way a company, a team, even an entire industry approaches risk and possibility. In many ways, the lesson also informs Elon's vision for humanity. SpaceX's mission to make life multiplanetary, Tesla's mission to accelerate sustainable energy, Neuralink's ambition to merge humans with AI, these are not just business strategies. They are expressions of a worldview shaped by the courage to dream big and the conviction to act. The underlying message is simple yet profound: the problems that seem too large, too complex, or too distant are not insurmountable if approached with persistence, curiosity, and fearlessness. The lesson from his mother provided the moral and psychological scaffolding for these ambitions. Without it, the scale of his dreams might have remained unimaginable. Even outside of professional achievements, the lesson permeates Elon's approach to personal life. Public scrutiny, intense pressure, and relentless media attention could overwhelm anyone. Yet Elon navigates this terrain with a kind of stoic fearlessness that mirrors May's example. Challenges are part of life, but they do not define the person facing them. The ability to separate external chaos from internal resolve allows him to act decisively, even under extreme pressure. It's a subtle lesson, but one with profound implications. Resilience is not about controlling circumstances, it's about controlling response, and perhaps the most inspiring part of this story is its universality. Elon Musk's achievements are extraordinary, but the core lesson is not reserved for billionaires or tech geniuses. It is accessible to anyone willing to embrace discomfort, cultivate curiosity, and act courageously. The lesson is not a formula for instant success. It is a philosophy for living boldly. The influence of Musk illustrates that sometimes, the most transformative education comes not from classrooms or textbooks, but from observing and internalizing the behavior of those we admire most. Ultimately, the lesson that changed everything for Elon Musk is deceptively simple. Face fear, embrace discomfort, and trust yourself. It is a lesson that shaped his childhood curiosity, guided his professional risk-taking, and inspired visions that stretch beyond the confines of our planet. It is a lesson about courage, independence, and the audacity to act when most would hesitate. It is about understanding that the only limits that truly exist are the ones we impose on ourselves, and that the path to extraordinary achievement begins by refusing to let fear dictate the course of our lives. Musk did more than raise a son. She gave the world an example of how one person's courage and integrity can echo through generations, transforming not only an individual, but the possibilities for all of humanity. Every rocket that leaves the ground, every Tesla that hits the road, every bold step into the unknown carries a quiet homage to that lesson. The lesson is timeless. Life rewards those who dare to embrace the discomfort, who trust in themselves, and who act with courage when others hesitate. That is the legacy of a mother's influence, and the force that changed everything for Elon Musk. One of the most striking aspects of Elon's journey is how early experiences, reinforced by his mother's example, cultivated a mindset that thrives on problem-solving and transformation. As a child, Elon was drawn to puzzles, computers, and anything that allowed him to understand how the world worked. Most kids might have been content playing games or following routines, but Elon was different. He wanted to take things apart and put them back together, to test the limits of understanding. May encouraged this curiosity. She didn't simply tolerate it, she nurtured it, providing him the space to explore, the confidence to question, and the reassurance that independence was not just acceptable but admirable. In a world that often emphasizes conformity, this was a radical gift. By allowing him to see value in exploration and autonomy, she gave him permission to trust his own instincts, a skill that would become indispensable in his ventures. As Elon matured, the stakes grew, and so did the complexity of the challenges he faced. Launching Tesla and SpaceX was not simply about innovation. It was about challenging entire industries that had, for decades, resisted change. Automotive executives scoffed at the idea of electric cars becoming mainstream. Aerospace engineers warned that private companies could never succeed in space. Yet Elon approached these challenges differently. The lesson from Musk was alive in every decision. Fear is a signal, not a barrier. Discomfort is an invitation to grow, not a reason to retreat. Instead of listening to the skeptics, Elon internalized the voice of his mother, the quiet insistence that courage and independence are the real measures of success. The moment others saw obstacles, he saw opportunities to apply ingenuity and resilience. This mindset also shaped his approach to failure. Anyone who has followed SpaceX knows the story: multiple rocket failures, public ridicule, and near bankruptcy. Many would have walked away, accepting defeat as inevitable. Elon, however, treated failure as data. Every setback was analyzed, dissected, and used to improve the next iteration. This approach reflects a core aspect of Musk's lesson: resilience is not simply enduring difficulty, it is actively learning and adapting through it. Failure is not the enemy, fear-driven inaction is. By learning to separate emotion from evaluation, Elon transformed what could have been debilitating setbacks into stepping stones toward success. In addition, Musk's example instilled in Elon a kind of emotional independence that has shaped the way he interacts with the world. Growing up, he learned that one cannot always rely on external validation. Praise is fleeting, criticism is constant, and the only true anchor is one's own belief in their abilities. This internal locus of control is evident not only in his business ventures but in his personal life. Elon faces relentless public scrutiny, sometimes unfair, sometimes intense, and yet he remains undeterred. The same courage and self-reliance modeled by his mother early in life allows him to act decisively, even when surrounded by chaos or doubt. The lesson also had a profound impact on his vision for the future. Elon's ambitions, colonizing Mars, transitioning the world to sustainable energy, integrating AI with human cognition, are not just about technology, they are about confronting the limitations of human imagination. They are about proving, in tangible ways, that constraints are often self-imposed. This mindset is a direct extension of Musk's philosophy: the world will challenge you, but you have the power to redefine the boundaries of possibility. By embracing discomfort and trusting his instincts, Elon demonstrates that the extraordinary is not merely achievable, it is a responsibility for those willing to act. Moreover, the influence of Musk's lesson is evident in the culture Elon cultivates within his companies. He empowers teams to take risks, encourages experimentation, and does not punish failure. This is rare in industries where mistakes can be catastrophic. But by embedding courage and resilience into the organizational DNA, Elon mirrors the values he absorbed from his mother. Innovation is not just about ideas, it is about creating an environment where people are unafraid to test boundaries, challenge norms, and embrace uncertainty. Every Tesla vehicle, every reusable rocket, every breakthrough is a manifestation of this philosophy. Even beyond work, the lesson has shaped Elon's approach to life. Personal hardships, public criticism, and the weight of enormous responsibility do not paralyze him. He approaches these challenges with a combination of pragmatism, curiosity, and courage, qualities that trace back to May's influence. Her life demonstrated that independence is not just about survival, it is about thriving under pressure, navigating complexity, and acting boldly in the face of uncertainty. Elon internalized this not as a rulebook, but as a mindset. It is a lens through which he evaluates risk, opportunity, and potential, guiding him toward decisions that most would consider impossible. Another remarkable aspect of this lesson is its subtlety. Musk did not hand Elon a manual for success. She did not say, "One day, you will revolutionize transportation and space travel." Instead, she lived a life that embodied courage, independence, and self-reliance. Through observation, Elon learned that the world does not reward passivity. Action, informed by integrity and resilience, is the true measure of potential. This kind of influence, quiet, persistent, and lived, is far more powerful than any explicit instruction. It becomes internalized, instinctual, and enduring, shaping not only choices but the very way one perceives possibility. Ultimately, the lesson that changed everything for Elon Musk is timeless and universal. Embrace discomfort. Act with courage, and trust yourself. It is a philosophy that underpins his innovations, drives his resilience, and inspires millions. It teaches that limitations are often mental constructs, fear is a guide, and boldness is a choice. Elon's story magnifies the lesson, but its essence is accessible to everyone willing to act despite fear, to learn through failure, and to persist in the pursuit of meaningful goals. Musk's influence is a testament to the power of example, of how one person's courage, independence, and resilience can ripple outward to shape the destiny of another, and, through them, the world. Every audacious venture, every breakthrough, and every bold step into the unknown carries the imprint of her guidance. Elon Musk's journey reminds us that the most transformative lessons are often learned not in classrooms, but in the quiet, consistent examples set by those we admire most. And in this way, the story comes full circle. Elon Musk, one of the most influential innovators of our time, owes much of his courage, curiosity, and audacity to a simple but profound lesson from his mother. It is a lesson that reminds us all that greatness is not born, it is cultivated, through observation, persistence, and the unwavering willingness to act when others hesitate. It is a lesson that, once internalized, can truly change everything. In the end, Elon Musk's extraordinary journey reminds us that the quiet courage of one person, a mother who taught fearlessness, independence, and the power to trust yourself, can ripple across a lifetime and, perhaps, even change the world.